Hello and welcome. It's mail day today. I've got a box from Alex, aka Bits and Bolts. I'm sure you know Alex's channel. If you don't, please go and take a look. It's absolutely fantastic. And thank you very much, Alex, for sending this. And I'm really sorry for the delay. This has been sitting here in my workshop for quite some time. I'm not entirely sure what's inside this box. I'm hoping there's something to be repaired and or to be tested. So let's open it up and see what's inside. Alright, so the first thing I see here is a heatsink. This is a slot 1 heatsink. I think I mentioned, Alex, that I didn't really have many of these. If probably I don't have any of them. So I think he sent one of this. If you know Alex's channel, you know that Alex lives close to a scrapyard and he's got access to the scrapyard to get components. So every week or so, I think he goes to the scrapyard and he comes back with like treasures every single time. I'm so envious because here in the UK, we do have scrapyards, recycle centers, but we are not allowed to go in. The members of publics are not allowed to go in and just grab items for a matter of safety. I mean, I understand why that happens, but yeah, lucky Alex has got access to that. So thank you for this one, because again, I haven't got many. All right, I see a motherboard and many other things. I think there's another layer somewhere. So let me do this. Let me thank today's sponsor, PCBWay. Let me move this on the floor and we'll take a look one item at a time. And after having a quick look online, and thanks to the RetroWeb Discord channel, thank you guys for helping me out. It's an Intel Advanced / ZAPPA board, which makes me laugh because in Italian ZAPPA is the hoe, the one you use in the garden to move the ground. So it doesn't sound great for an Italian. Anyways, it's a socket 5 motherboard. It comes with the Intel 430FX or Triton 1. I remember being familiar with the Triton 2, the HX, not the FX. Apparently a very successful and popular chipset for the time. It got some PCI slots and some ISA slots. The board is very dirty. Again, I'm assuming it comes straight from the scrapyard. It's got an AT power connector, and plus I see a hard drive controller. So there's the two IDEs, there's a floppy connector here, parallel to serial. That's supposed to be the BIOS. We got obviously the battery holder, the chipsets, and plenty of pin terminals, which are not in the greatest shape. But there's nothing shorted, I think. We'll take a look. We're going to test it in a minute, of course. We're not going to do any repairs on this video, but I'm curious to see what works and what doesn't. And I believe this probably was installed by Alex. I don't know whether he found this board with this CPU or he just installed this one. This is a Pentium 90. So one of the first Pentiums, not the very first one. I think it was the 60 megahertz. Amazing. I mean, it looks very cool. It's very Intel. All the Intel boards from that time, they do look all the same, or at least that they can definitely be recognized by the stickers, by the colors, the way the PCB was made. Absolutely fantastic. One interesting thing I'm seeing, there's a little 0 ohm resistor here, which is just installed at an angle. It looks like it's been put there so that someone, if needed, can rotate it and like close a circuit and do something. I don't know. I'll see whether I can find a manual. Probably it's not really something that we need, but anyways, it's kind of weird to see a 0 ohm resistor at an angle of a motherboard. I see some cache here on the left bottom side. I'm looking for damage, like obvious damage, but so far this board is dirty, but it actually looks like in very good conditions. I see that the socket, the plastic socket, is a bit damaged here, but I think heatsink will still attach with no problems. I see the extra power connector. I think that's a power connector for PCI slots, maybe, if you have something that draws extra power. Again, after all, this is an AT power supply, so I could imagine back then AT power supplies that were not designed to provide quite a lot of power. I would say let's plug it in and see if it works. I'm just curious. Again, we're not going to do any repairs on this video. Last famous words, who knows? But yeah, let me see whether this works. And actually, I need some RAM, which I might have somewhere, of course. These are 32 pins, but I think I'm seeing something inside the parcel. Yes. I have a whole bag of 32 pins SIMs. I don't know the size, But, you know, we'll find out. But that's amazing because I don't have much about this. So it's nice to have a little extra stock of 32-pin memory modules. Fantastic. Obviously, nothing is tested, so I'm going to use untested memory on an untested board with an untested CPU. Maybe the video card is going to be tested. That's the only thing. Let me put everything together and we'll give it a quick go and we'll see what happens. Alright, I got a video card, I got some RAM. This is 72 pins, by the way, it's not 32. I don't know why I was seeing in my mind that this board required 32 pin RAM. I've got a heatsink on the CPU, and I was having a look at these jumpers, these micro switches here, and I think I'll have to do a couple of quick changes. This is Pentium 90, and according to the manual, this should be switch number 6 off, and then on, come on, and off. There we go, and I'm going to move the pin number 1 back to the off position. That's kind of the, should be the correct voltage for this processor. There we go. Everything else is not really relevant. What is number 2? Actually, no, it's switch number 2, which is the voltage regulation. Switch number 1 is the speed, ISO speed. That should be fine at on. I don't care, I haven't got anything connected. But the voltage regulation, I want the lower voltage, which should work for this 3.3 volt CPU. Right, that should be it. I would say let's turn it on and see what happens. Safety goggles, because you never know. This board probably last time it was switched on was a few decades ago. I haven't got a battery, but hopefully will work without. Ready to turn on. 3, 2, 1, go. Right, okay, we got something, it works. Look at that. It is working, it's counting memory, keyboard detected. This is just working. CMOS battery failed, of course. Date not set, but oh, wow, this is fine. Well, I wasn't expecting this. So let me plug my compact flash, put a CMOS battery maybe, and we'll just run a couple of things just to make sure everything works. Happy days, look at that, it's back. And we are in the BIOS. I set date and time, I disabled the floppy, and I can see this, the CPU is being detected correctly. Amazing. I don't know whether this is the latest version, but let's exit saving changes, and I should be able to boot from my compact flash. Would you look at that? It's starting MS-DOS. It seems to be working totally fine. And this answers the question, can this board run Doom? Of course it can, it's a Pentium 90, it's more than capable for that. So yeah, this seems to be working totally fine. Thank you, Alex. I don't know whether, do I have another socket 5? I'm not entirely sure. I definitely don't have an Intel board like this. It's quite nice. I might give it a wash, so I'll make it nice. I'll probably straighten all the pins. But yeah, this is working absolutely totally fine. So thanks for that. Let's move to the next item, see what's inside the box. Ah, okay. All right, this is the Alex's Midi Forge. It's one of the many projects Alex has been working on. This is an expansion for a sound card. So if I understand correctly, this is adding a sample-based synthesizer to a board which doesn't have it. Like, for example, this is my Yamaha sound interface, sound card. This is obviously able to play 8-bit and 16-bit digital music, digital sound, but when it comes to instrumental music, it relies on Midi, and Midi relies on an FM synthesizer on the board itself. Now, FM stands for frequency modulation, if I'm not mistaken, which means that the sound you're hearing, the music you're hearing, the background music in your games, for example, is not really instrumental. If you pay attention, that's not instruments, it's like noises stretched and pitched in a way which are mimicking instruments, but they're actually not instruments. So manufacturer back then, they were adding this wavetable header, and I think Creative had a wave blaster, I think it was called, which I think is more or less unobtainable nowadays. But this is outputting MIDI, which is it's not sound, let's call it metadata, as in like play this note of this instrument for this amount of time and this amount of pitch, and obviously have a long and fast sequence, and you can mimic someone playing the piano, for example. but this card doesn't have sample-based instrumental synthesizer, so everything needs to be done with these noises. And this little interface is adding this feature to cards like this, so it's getting the MIDI in, and then we have this Raspberry Pi. Which one is this? The Pico, whatever. This is ubiquitous. You find it everywhere. It's such a flexible piece of hardware. The Raspberry Pi is converting MIDI into actual sound using either sound fonts or Roland MT32 emulation. And this is obviously configurable through these little buttons here, and you have an SD card where you can load as many sound fonts as you want. Now, the Raspberry Pi, I understand this Raspberry Pi has a sound output, but apparently it's very noisy, it's not great. So Alex went for a little DAC, digital to audio converter, which is basically getting the digital sound from the Pi and converts it into analog sound, because this header is basically outputting MIDI to the daughter board, and the daughter board is responding with actual sound. So you have a line input, a dedicated line input here on this header, which is then get mixed with the digital sound effects and that kind of stuff, and it gets through the audio output. Now, I understand this project is based on an existing one from Scrap Computing, and the software I think that runs on the Pi is the MT32-Pi from Dale Witham. But Alex wanted to make it smaller, because I believe the original design from Scrap Computing was basically taking an extra ISA slot, so you couldn't have the daughter board and another ISA card adjacent to it. So Alex has been designing PCBs on a roll. I mean, I'm so impressed. We kind of started chatting at some point about how do we do these things, and now he's designing this multi-layers PCBs. It's just absolutely fantastic. And the plan was to make it slim, thin, so that once this is installed on the card, you can actually use the adjacent slot. And you can see everything is as compact as possible, including this connector here, which is very cleverly attached this way. It's like an SMD, but it's not SMD, and it's basically slightly recessed inside the PCB itself. So Alex is this way saving, I think it's like 1.6 millimeter, which is the thickness of the PCB itself. So the idea is that once this is connected, it's very slim, and it allows you to have another card adjacent to the Sound Blaster with the daughter board installed. There are also some controls on the board. There's some push buttons for volume and for the selection of the mode of the interface, and also to select the sound font. There is a little display here, and this little header on the side, I understand you can purchase a little front panel, control panel for your computer, because obviously this is going to be inside your computer, so it's not going to be very convenient to change the sound font or something. And I believe I might have seen something online where you can actually do these operations via DOS software. I'm not sure about that, but yet there is also something that you can connect to this little connector here. I would say let me configure this old Yamaha interface for this motherboard. I'm going to reuse this Pentium motherboard, so at least we tested a little bit, and we'll try it with and without, actually without and with. I think I'll go through a couple of sections of I'll find a game. Chances are it's going to be Doom, and we're going to test it together and see what the difference is between the FM synthesis and what this daughter board can do, what the MIDI Forge Maestro can do. I am incredibly impressed by both the performance of this little board and the little board itself. I mean, it looks amazing. Alex, you've done some magic here. Really, one day I hope I have your skills in developing these PCBs and these designs. Thank you so much for sending it to me. This is actually, it's basically my sound card of choice in my own retro system, the Pentium something, whatever, the Socket 7 motherboard. So I think the sound card will go back in with the Midi Forge Maestro. I put all the links down below in the description about the original project, Alex's project, everything, including these little 90-degree adapters, which is my own design. That's all I can do with PCBs at the moment. But hey, it's a free design. It's available on PCBWay store. Whether you want just download the Gerber file or you want to purchase it from there, it's up to you. I think we've done with this board. It's time to have a look at what's next inside our magic box. And most of the cute PCBs you've seen in this video, my 90 degrees adapters, 8-bit and 16-bit, my XD IDE card, and even Alex's Midi Forge Maestro that we've explored before, well, they were all manufactured by the sponsor of this video, PCBWay. And I have to say that PCBWay have been helping these channels massively, because not only do they provide excellent quality PCBs, but they also have a massive amount of product and services they supply. Whether you need PCBs or 3D prints or sheet metal fabrication, well, PCBWay can help you with that. All these projects I've been talking about here on this table right now, they're all available for free on the internet. Some will be designs that you need to download the Gerber file and upload it manually on PCBWay.com. Some other designs, like my designs and even Alex's design, well, you can order them from PCBWay and pay them for the PCB manufacturing, but you can also download the Gerber file, which is freely available on PCBWay store, and you can do whatever you want with them. To order something from PCBWay store, well, it's very simple. The system will only ask you for minor details like the color of the PCB, the color of the seal screen, the finishing type, and that's it. Then you just select a postal service and PCBWay will just manufacture the PCBs for you. If you found a Gerber file and you'd like PCBWay to manufacture a PCB for you, well, it's also very simple. You just click on Instant Quote, upload the Gerber file there and select all the options relevant to your project, select a postal service, and PCBWay will manufacture the PCBs for you. And Christmas sales are on, by the way. It's only up to the 31st of December, so I appreciate there's not much time, but hurry up to PCBWay.com and have a look. There are quite a few offers, quite a few discounts, and let me thank PCBWay for sponsoring these videos on my channels, because their help makes these videos possible. So thank you very much, PCBWay. And now let's continue with this box of magic stuff. Aha, look at this. This is an Intel ceramic processor. It's a DX25 MHz, and I know exactly why there is a DX25 in this box. Actually, I think there is something else. Let me get to the bottom of the box. This is a 386 motherboard, and I do have a number of 386 motherboards. So why did I ask Alex to send me this? I actually asked for it. And the reason is that all the 386 motherboards I've got, number one, they don't have the socketed CPU, they have the AMD soldered CPU on it. Number two, I think they're all 386 40 MHz or something like that. I think I do have an SX, whatever. I specifically asked Alex, if possible, of course, for a socketed 386 motherboard and an Intel 386 DX25 ceramic CPU, because my very first computer when I was like 14 years old was an Intel 386 DX25 on a motherboard, obviously, which could accept it with no cache. And in one of my future projects, I'll try to recreate that computer exactly as it was before, or as I remember, 386 DX25, no cache, and a regular 386 motherboard with 2 megabytes of RAM. So nothing fancy, barely running Doom, barely running anything, but that's what I had when I was a teenager. So thank you very much, Alex, for finding this board and this CPU for me, and that's why Alex sent me some memory sticks, though I remember that my board had a full complement of 256 kilobytes of memory sticks occupying all the slots, which became very expensive to upgrade when I think eventually I upgraded to 4 megabytes because I had to get rid of all the RAM and install new one. Now this board is untested and it comes with a number of tantalum capacitor. So we might get fireworks, but we don't know. But most importantly, this hasn't been tested. The CPU is not tested. Nothing is tested. So let me take a quick look. Number one, let me see if I can identify this board. I'll have a look on the retro web. I'll look for damage, and then we'll give it a go and we'll see if it works. Alright, so I had a look online and found a number of boards which look absolutely identical. I have an A-bit, I have a Copum, I have a Jamicum. They all look identical. Just the name of the board, the part number changes a little bit. I can't find any difference whatsoever with the PCB itself. I believe that back then it's when boards were, you know, you didn't have like nowadays you have some reputable specific manufacturers making those motherboards. This was probably made by someone and then sold under different names by different players. I think the only configurable part on this board is the cache size. For the time being, I don't care, and anyways, I will like to have this board with no cache. I know it's going to be a disaster. Trust me, I know that very well. There is a little bit of damage where the battery was. But to be honest, I think this only affects the battery, which is not there anymore. So I don't really care. I'm assuming this probably has been washed already by Alex, probably. Everything looks in great shape, and I don't really see any obvious damage. So I think we can try and test it and see if it works. When it comes to RAM, Alex sent me 3 batches of 4 DIMMs each, and because I think for the 386 you need 4 DIMMs to cover the bus. I have no idea about the size, so I guess I'll go with 1 set and see what happens. And once again, plenty of tantalum, so let's at least give it a go with the multimeter to make sure there is no dead short on any of the power supply pins. I'm in continuity mode. The central 4 pins are ground. So these are gonna beep, but let's check all the others. Okay, these are good. And then we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 ground. And then what do we have here? Okay, 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 and okay. So we don't have a dead short, and we are gonna power it up. I mean, if a tantalum fails, it fails when it's energized. Usually the 12 volts and minus 12 volts one. So we'll see what happens. I'll wear some goggles. I'll take a step back, and we'll have fun. In fact, I would say before populating this board and potentially damage something if something is shorted, I would say let's just power up the board as it is and see what happens. And then we'll populate it, and if it works, we'll populate it and we'll move on. Time to power up, safety first. I guess I'll take some steps back and we'll see what happens. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, boom. It just works. No fireworks, no fireworks. And there was no explosion, so no fan, depending on whether you were expecting an explosion or not. I guess I will have to be careful over the next few minutes while I'm testing this board, because there's so many tantalums, and tantalums can explode at a later stage, especially on plus and minus 12 volts, so I might want to keep wearing my sunglasses here to make sure that everything is fine. But right now, let's turn these off and let's populate the board with the CPU, some RAM, a video card. Chances are this board just works. Now, when it comes to the CPU, again, this is a 25 megahertz CPU. It needs a 50 megahertz crystal, and I see that this one is an 80 megahertz, so I'm assuming this board was fitting 40 megahertz 386. Alex has been kind enough to send me another crystal. At least I see a crystal inside. I'm assuming it's a 50 megahertz. Again, I'm sorry, Alex, it's been so much time. This box has been sitting on the floor for way too long. So let's remove the crystal. And yes, thank you so much, Alex, for sending the 50 megahertz crystal that I need for the CPU. So let's fit this in. Oops, that's outside of the socket. There we go. I don't need a cable tie for the time being, just for testing it's going to be fine. The CPU is in great shape and I don't see anything wrong with the pins. 386, it doesn't really require a fan. Those were quiet PCs where the only fan in the system was the power supply, which was also responsible for cooling the whole system. Ready to go again? 3, 2, 1, go. All right, this this is working. Look at that. Okay, I appreciate. Yeah, that's RAM check. I appreciate there's not much happening on this video, but hey, it's working, and yeah, sometimes things just work. I got some expected error messages on the BIOS. Probably just need to get in and save all the settings again. CMOS battery low, of course, because there is no battery, and 4 megabytes of RAM, which is way too much. I only want 2 megabytes, but yeah, that's my problem. Let's get into the BIOS. It's the nice and colorful BIOS. Let me change to something which is actually watchable. Maybe something like this. And there's no point in changing stuff. All I want to do here, to be honest, is just write to CMOS and exit. That's it. We got 125 kilobytes of cache, 25 megahertz CPU, 386DX. This is working totally fine. We've discovered that these are 1 megabyte module RAMs for a total of 4 megabytes. So let's try the other two banks and see what size they are, and most importantly, if they work. Okay, well, the board doesn't seem to be doing anything with this set of RAM. Let me just quickly reset it and see what happens. And it's working now, so you know, it's old stuff, it's a bit dirty. And we got 4 megabytes of RAM again. I've also plugged my XT-ID in here. It's been a while since I used the actual XT-ID. Usually there is a controller on the board. Yeah, and it's working totally fine. One thing, I'm onto my compact flash. I forgot that these machines have a turbo switch. I see there is a jumper where it says turbo switch, so I'm assuming it's already in high speed, and it feels pretty slow. I hadn't been running at 386 in quite some time. This is with the jumper. And this is without, so yes, we are already in a high-speed mode. This is so slow. Anyways, the RAM seems to be working fine, obviously. It's not fully tested, but it seems to be fine. Let's try the last set. And this is also posting. Okay. CMOS memory size mismatch. Weird. We didn't have that before, so let's get into the BIOS and we'll... Onboard parity error. Address that one. System halted. Okay. What does that mean? That's weird. Okay, now the system doesn't go anywhere, and when I started it, it did a sequence of beeps. 3. We have 1 long and 3 short, and I'd imagine it's probably something to do with parity. Now, I had to check this with Vogons, and thank you guys for helping me out every single time. But the 386 is a 32-bit bus with the memory, so we need at least 32-bit of memory to cover the whole bus. Each one of these modules is 8 bits, that's why we have 4 modules. And by looking at these modules, they have 3 chips on it. And because each one of these modules is 8 bits, it means that 2 of these chips are 4 bits each to cover the 8-bit. The third one is the parity bit for 1 bit to check that the data is not corrupted, basically. So the parity bit is basically a safety check. It's 1 bit, which is, it depends on the other 8 bits. So if something happens within those 8 bits, when the parity bit is expected to be 1 and it happens to be 0, well, then you know that basically one of the bits on the RAM has flipped for whatever reason, and the computer knows that that amount of data is rubbish, is trash, it can't be trusted, and usually it crashes that way and it says parity error. I'm gonna stop, I'm gonna hold, because the data coming from the RAM is obviously incorrect. Not all the RAM has parity. This one has parity because they're all 3 chips. Some of other modules apparently have 9 chips, or well, 8 bits, 8 chips for 8 bits, plus 1 chip for the parity bit. These one are different type of modules, and I understand they're a bit more tricky to make it more compatible with some boards, so that could be the reason. Now, I also understand that some of these boards have a parity disable option somewhere on the board, but I had a look around on the multiple datasheet, well, not datasheet, jumper sheets that I found on the retro web, and I couldn't really find anything that said parity on, parity off.
There are some jumpers here that are like factory, do not change, and I don't feel like changing them in case I'm, I don't know, sending the wrong voltage in the wrong place. So if you know anything about this, but I see that we have some jumpers here which are for the cache. These one are probably the one from the factory that says do not change, and then we have something here which is for setting whether it's an 386 or the that 486 that worked on the 386 sockets. I can't remember the name exactly. There's really nothing else. So I don't think this board has the ability to change the, to disable the parity control basically. Some boards apparently they have this ability within the BIOS. But in here, if I'm trying to get into the BIOS, the system halts immediately. So I can't do that. I'm assuming that this is a parity error. Maybe there's a faulty module in here. So maybe I could do a little bit of shuffling around and find out whether maybe it's just one of the modules. Let me do a very simple check. I'm back to the previous set of RAM, so this is working totally fine. Let me just turn on the system and I'm going to replace one of the modules with one of these which seems to have the parity error and see what happens. No, we have exactly the same error message, and now if we try and get into the BIOS, it halts. Now, it could be that this module is faulty, so I'll put it aside and just try another one. And the chances that we have two faulty modules are probably none. So let's try again. No, we have the same error message. So this seems like some sort of incompatibility with these modules, because I don't think we have two faulty modules out of this thing. I'd like to check in the BIOS whether we have an option to disable the parity check of these modules. We don't really need parity check, I mean, for these systems. So this is the working RAM. Let me get into the BIOS and see if by any chance we have a way to disable the parity check, and then we can try and move back to the other modules and see if by any chance they work. Oh yes, memory parity error check enabled. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to change this to disabled. Now I don't have a battery on this thing, so I went ahead and grabbed one of these from an older motherboard I modded some years ago. There is an external battery header there, so that makes my life so much simpler. Number one, do I get any voltage out of it while the system is energized? No, because obviously this is going through diodes, so hopefully we don't have the problem. And which one is the negative pin? I'd imagine it's this one. It's probably a tiny amount of voltage on it. Yeah, the other one doesn't do anything. So it's the one on the right-hand side, and it matches my connector here, which has the black connector on the right-hand side. So I can plug this one. Is this still alive? Because this has been on a 386 motherboard in a bag for years. Wow, 3 volts, yes. Amazing. And I'm assuming I've kept the polarity right. Yes, polarity is matching the colors. So I guess I can plug this up right now. Plug this in. Sorry, someone corrected me on comments. It's not plugging up, it's plugging in. Okay, so we have the battery installed. I can save, write to CMOS and exit. Perfect. Number one, is this going to work without parity? Yeah, looks okay. Yeah, it's booting, so this seems to be totally fine. Now I don't care about this, so let me power it off. I'll give it, I don't know, 30 seconds. We're going back to the BIOS to make sure that the setting is being retained, because I will need those 30 seconds to swap the RAM. Yes, it's still disabled. Happy days. So we can change our RAM and see whether this is working now. Wow, it's working. It's working fine. So this RAM, I doubt has got some parity issues. It's probably some timing issues with this board, something, whatever. It doesn't like it, and for whatever reason, we have to disable parity, which I don't see that as an issue, to be honest. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's probably the only way to play Doom on this system. And I'm gonna make it slower on my future video, because I'm going to remove the cache. It's gonna be painfully slow. Fantastic. No, this is working totally fine. And again, those are 1 megabyte modules. So all of these are 1 megabyte modules. The only gotcha is that these modules here, this set is not compatible. The parity control is not compatible with this board, or there must be something, I don't know, but it doesn't work with this board. Great. I don't know, I kind of remember Doom being a bit more playable on my X25, but yeah, I do remember having to use a smaller window because the system couldn't make it. And again, this has cache, so I don't know, we'll see, we'll experiment at some point. Now, done with the RAM, cool thing with this parity arrow, let's move to the next item. There is one cool thing left in the box, but first I found the clip for the heatsink for the slot 1. I was using this one, which is a Xbox 360 heatsink. It's working, but obviously it's not exactly how it should be. So let me improve it. Oh wow, this is stuck. They glue it. Oh, fair enough. Now, I'd imagine this aluminum square is probably designed to attach directly on a die, like on this one. I mean, I don't know, because I understand that this cannot be opened. I had a look online and basically they said don't try, it's only gonna break it. So, does this work with this? I don't think so. No. Well, obviously, there's no through holes. So obviously, I shouldn't have removed my Xbox 360 thing. So this needs a special heatsink, apparently. I'll have a look online, but I guess for now, my Xbox 360 heatsink is the way to go with this. But when it comes to this, I'd imagine this is working with one of this, which has the plastic case at the front and the heatsink at the back. But unfortunately, I only have one of these plastic cases, but then I have, well, this one CPU, because I think this is faulty, I couldn't fix it, but this was, I was able to fix it by reflowing the main processor here, and it is working, but obviously, yeah, this will fit in here, but then I need something on the other side. I can't just slide the clip on top of here. So I'm kind of back to square one. Well, thank you, Alex, for sending anyways. And you can definitely replace this one because it's kept together with bolts because I didn't have the clip. Well, I had the clip, it just broke. So maybe I can replace this one with this one. But no, I thought I had, this was fitting with this one, but obviously it does not. So unfortunately, this is not going to work. But it's nice to have because, as you can see, this is all I've got for slot 1. I think these are actually all my CPUs. So this is broken. These two are working, and this has a broken heatsink. So I can probably install this working heatsink on this one, and then for this one, I don't know, I'll see. I'll put back the 360 one. The last cool thing that I found almost by chance, because I didn't realize at the beginning. Oh, something I forgot to mention. Alex also sent me these. These are clips for RAM, because I think on some of my boards the clips are broken. So we were chatting about it, and he said, "Look, I got plenty of these things." So obviously from the Scrapyard, you can get as many as you want. So thank you so much for this, because you can't really find this, and if you need them. What do you do? You know, I mean, the RAM probably stays in place anyways, but it's nice to be able to replace them. So thanks for that. And as I was saying, the last thing I found, almost by chance, is in this box. Because this is where the 386 was, and then I realized, wait a minute, this is still heavy, and I didn't realize there is another processor underneath, and this is a Pentium 75. There we go. So maybe we can give it a go and test it and make sure it works. I put a tick mark on it, so at least I know it works. And I guess we can go back to the Intel motherboard. But before I do that, I think I'd like to give this board a clean. And I'm not going to use my usual PCB cleaner, which is water-based. It's quite nice. But I don't like to power up a board which goes into water immediately after cleaning it. So that would take about like 48 hours or something like that. So what I'm going to do today, I'm going to use isopropyl alcohol. And then I have an air compressor here, a small one, and I'm happy to power up a board immediately after it's been brushed with isopropyl. So let's give this a quick clean. And it's done. It's not as good as when I'm using my water-based PCB cleaner, but this is pretty good. Now, this is once again 75 megahertz Intel Pentium
Let's have a look at the pins. The pins seem to be okay. There we go. Now this is Pentium 75, so diff switch number 7 is supposed to be to the off position to set the multiplier, and I am ready to go. 3, 2, 1, go. Uh-huh. Oh, no, it's good. I saw the FF code, I don't know. Yes, it is working. It doesn't say what processor is installed. There we go, Pentium family 75 MHz, so it's all good. I don't care about dates and time at the time being, I just want to save so the BIOS doesn't give error anymore. And it's working fine. So, you know, I asked Alex to send me broken stuff so I could repair it, I could have fun with him. But no, this time he sent me a box of working items. So I'm a bit disappointed. I'm joking, of course. It is true, actually. You know, I like when I get something which is not working so I can fix it. But in this case, everything was completely untested, and so far, everything has been working totally fine. I have a feeling that that 386 board at some point will go up in fireworks, but not on this video. And with Doom running, I think we've reached the end of this video. Really had fun. As I said, it would have been nice to see something not working, but hey, this time everything is working. I got another nice Intel motherboard for my collection. It's gonna be great. I see there are some firmware updates available for this board. Maybe at some point I can just update it to the latest version. But most importantly, I really would like to thank Alex for sending me these amazing 386 ceramic CPU with relative motherboard. Because as I said in a future video, I'm going to build the very computer that I used to have when I was a teenager, at least as close as possible, which was a 386 DX25 with 2 megabytes of RAM, 40 megabytes of hard drive, and a very basic VGA. I think it was an oak VGA, where the monitor was even worse. But anyways, I've actually placed an order for 8 modules of 256 kilobytes of RAM, because that's how the board was configured. And I'm going to remove the cache from this board. I know, it's like horrible. You know, I have a faster system, it's behind me. I have plenty of fast systems. This is going to be the one I used to play Doom with it, and it wasn't able to play at full screen, so I had to play something like this because it was totally unable to play at maximum resolution, maximum definition. So that's going to be pretty fun, and I have a case here under my desk which I'm going to reuse for that project. So once again, thank you very much, Alex, for sending me this magic box with all this incredible stuff inside. If you haven't, please take a look at Bits and Bolts. I'm assuming if you're following my channel, you're also following Bits and Bolts. But anyways, thank you so much. And if you like this video as usual, I'd appreciate a thumb up down below, and also consider subscribing to this channel and my second channel if you like this kind of things. Don't forget I'm on Facebook and on Patreon, and the links are also down below in the description. There is a free tier on Patreon, so no excuses. But if you don't want to follow me on Patreon, well, maybe you can buy me a coffee, and the link is also down below in the description. If you don't want to buy me a coffee, well, I hope you had fun. That's it for today. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I hope to see you again soon here on my channels for my next videos. Thank you very much, and goodbye. Bye-bye. Little extra for this video, I've noticed that there is an MR BIOS available for this board, so let's do a quick upgrade. Let's see how it looks. This is the Intel BIOS. Intel BIOS have never been too comprehensive as far as I understand, and it's basically just the bare minimum for setting up stuff, not much as you can see. Security is usual stuff, and that's it. So let me re-enable the floppy. We are on BIOS of 10004BS0, which is also available on the retro web. Now, I believe the BIOS installs via a bootable disk, so let's format this disk with the system files on it. Floppy is formatted with system files on it, and then let's copy everything that we have in this folder onto the floppy drive. There we go. I think now it's just a matter of restarting, and the auto exec that we just copied should call the MR ZAPPA. And I don't know whether it's an automatic thing or it will ask for something, assuming it will boot from the floppy. Depends how it's configured on the BIOS, but I think so. That's the default stuff. Yeah, its system is booting from the disk, and let's see what happens. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we can back up the file as well. This is great. We have a backup file created. I like that this is just a ZAPPA flash loader. This is just designed for this board. It's not like a generic one. Amazing. And now we can load the MR BIOS into Flash. Press Y, and that's it. Well, that was fast. It says, congratulations, MR BIOS is now installed. Please any key to restart your computer. Will it work? Finger crossed. Yes, okay, well, it's going somewhere. And MR BIOS, oh, look at that. Battery backup memory is corrupt. I guess it's just because we just started it for the first time. Wow, oh wow, that's impressive. Oh, and this is not just the only page. We have more: boot sequence, ports, security, cache, shadow, more chipset. Oh, that's quite. This is quite comprehensive. It's quite interesting. Now, let me mention that I've seen on the text file that this is not free. The text file says that to have this BIOS installed, you are supposed to pay $20 to the company or whoever developed this thing. So thank you so much, whoever you are who designed this BIOS. For all my viewers, including myself, let's remember that this is not free. But this is definitely quite impressive. It feels like it gives the board new life. Let's put it that way. As you noticed, the Intel BIOS is pretty limited, so this is quite nice. Oh, that's why MR BIOS Microid Research. So it's not Mr. BIOS. I think I saw that Necroware explained it on one of his videos. So yeah, interesting. But it does sound like Mr. BIOS. Right, that's really it for today. I hope you enjoyed this little extra. Thank you for watching. See you next time.